Danny, how you doing, man?
You're amazing. Would you say it? Would you say that you're amazing for me? So goddamn fucking wholesome. You know, I really like that scene. But who is in that scene? I hear you ask. You don't fucking know.
No,
okay.
You don't know.
So
I
let
don't
me
know.
just.
I don't pay attention to things. I was darning a sock while I watched this film. Fuck knows what's going on.
Exactly. I mean, so let's just preface this right out the fucking gate. Major spoilers for this film. Huge spoilers. Big ones. Big massive ones.
Big chunky spoilers.
Chunky fat spoilers are going to be in this. Okay, so let's just be very careful. But before we even bother getting to that, we have some bullshit to talk about, Lewis.
We
don't we?
Indeed have some bullshit to talk about, Danny. I think
Absolutely.
you go first, eh? We'll treat you. We'll let you go first.
Amazing.
You got a cheeky wheel?
I do have a cheeky wheel, and it will be spun. No. Downing Street Christmas party.
Oh, what a party. I can't possibly imagine what was going on there.
Cheese and
to be
wine.
honest, imagine if you were in a situation where one day you're at work, you're up some scaffolding, and someone comes to you and says, sorry, Daniel Kerr, and you go, yeah, that's me. You say, okay, well, I'm part of an inquiry team to look into the party at such and such, whatever your address is, and you go, what do you mean? And then say, oh, have you not heard? No, yeah, there was a party at your house. And you'd have to come to terms with the realisation that the party was so insane that you don't even remember whether it happened or not.
Exactly.
It happened in your house, and you don't even know or notice.
Yes.
That's ludicrous.
It really is. Where do I even begin? Okay, so, for those that don't know, the government recently has been accused of breaking COVID rules last year in the form of a staff Christmas party that took place. I don't know what day was it on Christmas Day?
Oh Christ! Shall I quickly Google it so we can actually have the facts in front of us?
Yeah, give it a Google.
The 18th of December it says here.
The 18th of December. So COVID restrictions are in full force across the country. Lots and lots of people stuck indoors, not able to see their families, not able to go to their Christmas parties, not able to just see their relatives and give them gifts and wish them a Merry Christmas or whatever festive holiday that they subscribe to. And it appears that the people who enforced the rules and created the rules had their own party, which contradicts their own grievous commandments that they...
How lovely.
Yeah, that they say that must be followed for the safety of everyone's safety. And, you know, that's all fine. But when the people that make the rules not only break them, but laugh at you for following them, it really, I think it sort of wanes public trust just a tad. And now, what's going to happen if more restrictions are announced for upcoming Christmas, which is very, very soon, and it probably will have been Christmas by the time you see this.
Yeah, it might be Boxing Day when this goes out, actually, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So if it is, then I hope you had a nice Christmas Day if you celebrate.
I hope so too. There will be lots and lots of people who will flout the rules and say, well, if they're not going to do it, why should I do it? And while that is a bad thing to do, and I don't advise it at all, I advise that everyone follows the rules to keep us safe. I completely understand.
So do I, yeah.
It's a completely justified response to the utter contempt shown by the people that are meant to govern us and keep us safe through medical advice.
The truth of the matter is that authority must be derived from the consent of the governed. And if you're in a situation where you're governed, the people that are being governed are laughing at you for such a ridiculous thing as to have a Christmas party in the midst of a full-blown pandemic, then you do not have the consent of the governed. You do not have that authority anymore. So if you say to somebody, okay, everybody stay in your houses, don't have a Christmas, everybody's going to go, well, you're just going to go to your mum's house. You're going to go to your... Boris Johnson's got 2 kids now, both of which I think... I'm rusty on my COVID rules at the moment, but I would imagine that puts both the children and their mother, I would imagine, in some kind of at-risk group.
Yes.
And yet he is still mixing Christmas parties, family members, all sorts.
Yep.
So even though he is arguably one of the most vulnerable people, because he has children and a recently pregnant wife, is that not... And he is still flouting the rules? That's ridiculous and horrible.
Yeah, absolutely. It seems to me now that there are pictures of a garden gathering that took place on the 15th of May, 2020, when lockdown was in full swing, and Boris Johnson is there, not socially distancing, with 3 other people sat at the table. So it was. I think the Conservatives' strategy was to distance Boris from this in whatever way possible. And to Boris's knowledge, all guidance was followed, and we obviously saw Allegra Stratton thrown under the bus as the scapegoat for what seems to be just a complete and utter clusterfuck of lies and deceit. But folks, this is just, this is not going to stop. This is not going to stop whatsoever. The people currently in government do not give a shit about you or me or anyone that doesn't benefit their interests, and they're quite happy to either break the rules or change the rules when the rules don't suit them.
Yeah, there is no doubt in my mind that Boris Johnson just has a callous disregard for human life.
Yeah.
There is no... It's just numbers to him. He's not
Let the bodies
faced...
pile up.
Exactly. He is not faced with the real ramifications of this tragedy, because he's in a situation where he can just look the other way and walk away from them.
Yeah.
I remember in the first lockdown, I didn't see my granddad for 18 months.
Yeah.
Thanks, Boris. You were just fucking about for that whole time. It's utterly disgusting. It's... What really, really gets me is something that Boris apologists, which is insane that I have to say that phrase about the actual interim Prime Minister, but sort of Boris apologists will say things like, oh, well, nobody knew how bad it was going to get, or nobody knew the true scale of things, or he's done his best sort of thing. But he hasn't. On numerous occasions, such as this one, it's just been shown that he's just done what he wants to do. Sod the consequences, give government contracts to his mates to line their pockets and get a bit of a kickback from it himself, surely, down the line.
Yep.
I just can't possibly conceive of a world in which it's considered that he's handled this pandemic well, because he hasn't. He really, truly hasn't.
No, he definitely hasn't. And I don't want this to be appearing as if we're leaving out any other political parties. If any political party or any sort of public figure had parties when they weren't supposed to, they are just as bad. And the reason that the Tories are getting the most slack from this is because they're in power at the moment. They are the ones that we're supposed to look to and are supposed to be responsible above everyone else. But when there is such, I don't even know how to describe it, there's such a feeling of sleaziness and
completely
grossness about this government that it's not ever been around this prevalently before since maybe even like Thatcher. Maybe that was the time that we need to go back to before this level of mistrust and contempt is felt towards a government. It's just really, really shocking.
It really, you're completely right. It's I loathe the fact that somehow we've ended up in this situation where this wealthy elite are controlling the interests of the people of the country. It's utterly insane, utterly disgusting. I absolutely hate it. I wouldn't know what to say otherwise, to be perfectly honest with you. The only thing that I would say is that get your booster jab. It's time for boosters. Everybody's getting boosted. I'll be eligible on the first couple of days of January, so I'll be getting one as soon as I'm eligible. I'm sure Danny is already eligible and getting one. My wife had her booster jab. Everybody get your jabs. Stay home. Wash your hands. All the rest of it.
Yeah.
Let's let's see the other side of COVID, for Christ's sake.
Yeah,
you know?
Absolutely. I don't think there's anything else to say other than fuck them.
Yeah, and I know that obviously it's going out on Boxing Day, so it doesn't matter too much. But something I have seen around online is the idea of sort of public gatherings and family gatherings for Christmas time and New Year's and all the rest of it. That's all well and good, but do just be safe. If there are vulnerable people in your family, do COVID tests, do lateral flow tests, do PCR tests. Wash your hands, for God's sake.
Yeah.
Quarantine yourself for a couple of days to a week to 2 weeks before you actually go. Just try and decrease the chances of anything horrific happening. Because can you imagine how you would possibly feel if something terrible did happen and it was your fault?
Yeah.
I can't possibly conceive of that. It's just terrible. Here's my controversial opinion on the subject, Dan. Fuck COVID right off.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I've had COVID, folks, and it is really not. It is not fun at all. It is horrible. And I think I was really bad with it. I was really ill from it. Coughing and spluttering and just unable to breathe for a long time.
Yeah.
So you just don't want it. Why? Especially at this time of year, like work's finishing up. It's going to be Christmas soon. You know, you're wanting to spend time with your family as safely as possible, and you know, the more we do that, the less chance we are of getting COVID and the symptoms that come with it. So just use your head, be sensible, just be safe. I know it's a bit shit, and I know it sucks, but it's either that or more people get sick and we just stay in lockdown even longer. So
yep, you're completely right.
But yeah, I think that's all I have to say on it. What
yeah,
about you,
I
Lewis?
think no, you're completely right. I think the only thing that remains to be spoken about is Omicron, which is very real, very scary. It's something ridiculous, like twice or 3 times as infectious as previous different variants of COVID. Chloe and I were meant to go to the Panto in our local theatre the other day, and we decided not to because the looming threat of Omicron. And the last time that Chloe went, what was it for? I can't remember what it was for, but it was when cases were very low. I think it was when face coverings weren't mandatory inside buildings, all the rest of it, and it was people were still socially distanced and all the rest of it, and still she got home and the next day she had a text that said, you have been in a spot that, because she checked in with the COVID app, the NHS app, said you have been in a spot where linked to a COVID-19 outbreak, please get tested, sort of thing. So we just couldn't fathom it realistically. Going out to the theatre and sitting in a crowd full of people, especially Panto, it's kids running around and screaming, and do you know what I mean? It's
exactly.
We couldn't quite rationalise it in our heads. Just, be sensible. It is shit, but the sooner we get through the shit, the sooner we get to reality, which is, I know it feels like it's a long way away, but we will get there. We can get through it if we all just pull together and get through it. Reach out to people, give them a ring, and give your nan a hug through the phone if you possibly can.
Yeah, exactly.
Just be kind, wash your hands. Good God, we're all fucking sick to death of this fucking pandemic now. And the frustrating thing is, there's been all these anti-lockdown, anti-mask, anti-COVID restrictions protests down in London with a bloke that, against the odds, seems to be called Piers Corbyn, which is the most inflammatory name I could possibly imagine for the British public. But he seems to be sort of spearheading the whole thing, and you can see him at the front of all these marches and everything. And the frustrating thing is, the frustration that they're feeling at having been locked up for so long and having dealt with everything and having the government call the shots in such a huge way. I understand their frustration because I'm fucking sick and tired of it as well. I don't want to have to think about this. I don't want to have to constantly think about washing my hands or think about sanitizing the fucking trolley in a supermarket and all the rest of it. I don't want to think about it. But the answer to that is not to go and stand in a group of people without masks and face coverings, people who admit they haven't had the jab. it's not a sensible way to go about it. Get your jabs, wear a mask, wash your hands. But Christ, I understand why people are frustrated. I really do.
No,
But
definitely.
good God, get your jabs and wash your hands. Fuck's sake.
Yeah, definitely. But anyway, enough
I had a
doom and
spirit of
gloom.
anger. Just
Yes.
she got in me then for a second.
Yeah. Let's talk about something a bit more cheerful, shall we, Lewis?
I've got a cheeky quick bit for the bullshit, if that's all right.
Excellent. I hope it's cheerful.
It's slightly cheerful, yeah.
Oh, excellent. Okay, right. You ready?
Yes. Hello, sir.
Hello? Yep.
Have we finished clicking? Can I speak?
Yeah, go.
Wonderful. Oh my god, Pixel Gladiator. It's a game that I got on my Switch. I love it. Right. It's a game I got on my Switch. It was in some kind of a sale. I think it might have even been a Black Friday sale. It cost me 89p. I think it costs £6 or $5.99 normally. It's on my Switch. I imagine it's also on Steam and Epic and all the other launchers that you're aware of. But it's just a really basic, really good game. And it's something that I just wanted to briefly share the game and say it's really, really good. If you like sort of basic tower defense style video games, it's really good. You're a little guy on Mars and you have a gun and you have to defend your little base from increasing waves of aliens and all the rest of it. It's very basic tower defense. There's little walls that you build, little turrets in them, and then there's different types of alien come out of the woodwork and try and attack you and all the rest of it. And that's, it's all suitably horrible when it gets to the point, but it's just a really well-made, really basic game, and it's something that I've really enjoyed sinking hours and hours into over the past couple of days.
Yeah.
And I'm aware it's a very me thing to download and really get absorbed into such a basic game, but it really is brilliant. Pixel Gladiator, it's called. It's this beautiful pixel art that is actually within the game, and the soundtrack is really like rocking. And it's it's going to be a good game when you pay less than £1 for it. And then the credits come up when you first load the game, and it says coded, artwork, and music done by, and it's just one person. And you're like, oh, great, okay. This will either be the greatest game I've ever played or the worst. But turns out it's really, really good. I just wanted to say that, I've been stressed out recently with a lot of different bits and bobs going on everywhere in life and in COVID and all the rest of it. And just disappearing into a game with a really rocking soundtrack where I can electrocute aliens for a bit. It's just been really nice. And whether you choose to play Pixel Gladiator, which I would recommend, it's really, really good, and it's cheap as well. I think on Switch now there is a Christmas sale on, so you might be able to get it in that. I don't know. But yeah, it's really good. I would really recommend it, or that, or Cookie Clicker. I watched a documentary about Cookie Clicker. Apparently there are still people playing it. 6 years of consecutive play. I saw
a video by Alt Shift X.
Okay.
Did a great video on Cookie Clicker. He does great videos on lore and stuff. Check him out for that video. He makes it seem a lot more fundamental and horrible than it actually is, which is good. But yeah, games like that, small, simple games that don't take a lot to make, but can say a lot about us and have interesting themes. Like the Stanley Parable. Do you remember that game?
Yes, it was a mod for Half-Life something or other, or a mod for Gary's Mod or something. Yeah.
It was. You couldn't really do much in it other than follow the narrator or choose to defy the narrator. It's just, what does it mean to be in a story? What does it mean to have free will and stuff like that? It's interesting games like that.
There's something else that I really like about Pixel Gladiator that I said I thought to myself I'd mention, but I didn't mention, is that I think it was made somewhere in Eastern Europe or perhaps in Russia, because there's lots of different languages that can be translated into, and I think essentially that means nothing really, but essentially what it means is that there's little to no explanation for anything in the game. So you just load in and you're just a guy with a gun, and that's it. You are not at all prepared in any meaningful sense with any kind of exposition or dialogue. It loads in about 30 seconds and you're just on Mars in like this 2D pixelated world, like Mario 1-1. It's like that in a weird way. But the thing that makes it good is like you upgrade your weapon and armor and stuff. Nothing is explained to you at any point. So when you do make some kind of learn something new or make some kind of new decision, it feels very organic and like it's something that you've done. Like the gun that you start the game with is like a sort of a pistol style gun. It holds 6 or 7 bullets, and you shoot them all, and then you reload it. And you play the game like that for a while, and then just through the course of, because it doesn't explain anything, through the course of just pressing random buttons, you discover it has like a secondary attack, and then you can flick between all your different weapons and see what their secondary attacks are, and you start to learn how some of them are sort of more and more sort of powerful against different types of enemy, and some of them are particularly valuable, and some of them are particularly bad, and it's just, there's lots of interesting internal dynamics that are really, really good that I really love. This actually reminds me, in a bizarre way, of a game that I picked up. Oh God, it must have been in my final days of high school when I was 16. Quickly find it. I think it's Griff Patch's Tower Defense. Tower Defense. Here we go. Danny, did you do Scratch at school? The coding language?
No, I didn't.
Oh, but basically, it's something from MIT. Here we go, yeah. It's something from MIT that these coders got together and said, right, well, to make coding and all the rest of it more accessible, let's create literally a drag-and-drop version of it. So you would, instead of having to type out the code and get all the syntax and everything right, you just literally drag and drop across your screen different suggestions and different types of actions and stuff like that. And you can design your own sort of little avatars for the games that you create, and people use it to make animations and all sorts of things. And it's really, really good. It's a really good programming language. It's how I got started programming. It's really good. But people have got really complex with it. There are people that have tried to make, as much as they can, very faithful renditions of like Minecraft, but in this incredibly limited programming language. But this game that I absolutely adore, Griff Patch's Tower Defense v1.0. If you Google that, followed by Scratch, which is the language, you'll get to the game. It's absolutely amazing, and I've been playing it for... I started in 2016, and it's 2021, so 5 years now.
Oh my
it's
God.
really, really just so good. There's something about it that I think taps into the same part of my brain that enjoys Tetris. And it's like you start off with however many sort of credits, and essentially you have like a rectangular board which has sort of squares on it, and at the start of a wave of enemies, an enemy will come out of one side of the board and then go across the board and go out the other side. And for every enemy that goes out the other side of the board, you lose a life. You start the game with 20 lives, and you can buy different types of turrets and different kinds of whatever. And it's like almost an exercise in crowd control and queuing at the same time as it is an exercise in sort of a tower defense game. And it's really, in some impossible to describe way, it just fits into my brain really well, and I've sat playing it for hours and hours and hours before. It's completely free to play it. It doesn't require a big beefy computer or anything. It's absolutely fantastic. It's really difficult to put down in a strange way, but I really adore that game, and it reminds me of Pixel Gladiator. I suppose it is pixel art at the same time. It's not stunningly gorgeously pretty or anything, but it is also just really simple in the best possible way. And the other one that pops into my mind, is it Paperclip Simulator? So somehow we're
God, we're diving into the nicheness of this one.
Here we go. Universal Paperclips. Decisionproblem.com. Universal Paperclips. It's loaded up one of my old games. I've got 1.2 billion paperclips in this game. It's essentially if somebody took Cookie Clicker and then read like an economics textbook or 5, and then put the contents of those textbooks into Cookie Clicker, but it's paperclips instead of cookies. And it's another game that's impossible to put down. You start by just clicking the button to make paperclips, and then you buy more wire. Then you buy something that automatically makes paperclips. Then you buy something that automatically buys wire when you run out of wire. And you can control market forces by increasing and decreasing the price of your paperclips. And it sounds ridiculous, and it looks even worse, because it's literally just text on a screen. There's no narrative. It's just like looking at a Word document. But in the same way, it's so difficult to put down. There's something so engaging and arresting about it. So what I'm trying to get round to saying, through telling you about all these games that are incredibly nerdy that I adore, is that in this time of stress and trouble and all the rest of it, if you can just find something that just occupies your brain completely and takes you out of it, that might be a good thing, because that's what these games do for me. Tetris as well. I've started darning socks, of all things. We inherited some sewing supplies, and I thought, oh, it's always good to learn a new skill. And then I did, and then I thought, oh, this is actually like really arresting and engaging in some impossible to define way. It's mindless in a really pleasant way. So I'm big into mindless tasks at the moment. So if you like a good mindless task, try out one of the things I've suggested. Learn how to darn a sock.
Yeah, excellent. Well, what better advice could you be given? You know, to make yourself feel better. I mean, it's you're absolutely right in what you're saying. It's keeping yourself occupied in the most benign way possible. You know, just keep yourself safe. Don't go mad. You know, don't let yourself be overwhelmed by everything that's going on, and simple things like that. It's
so very easy to be overwhelmed by everything that's going on.
Oh yeah, it's easily.
Yeah, just even going to the supermarket and stuff like that, you're like, it's always in the back of your mind. It's like you can't trust the people that are near you in some very difficult to put your finger on way. You can't trust them. And that's incredibly stressful and horrible, and it's just a bit fucked, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it's dreadful. You're completely right.
So anyway, play Griff Patch's Tower Defense V1.0.
Yes, please do.
And report back, because it's free, and you can burn a few hours on it very, very easily.
Yeah.
If you like mindless games that somehow involve maths in some impossible way, like Tetris, then you will like that game. It's really good. It's free. Go and check it out.
You certainly will. Well, Lewis, I think it is high time that we talk about the film.
It is, yeah. But that's in the title of this episode. We're 27 minutes in, according to my timer, and we still have not talked about it.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to be talking about Spider-Man, No Way Home, because he's no get money for a taxi.
He's lost his sat-nav. Fuck. He's fucked.
Wow. Spider-Man, No Way Home. And it was directed by John Watts and is starring, spoilers, Tom Holland.
Yep.
Tobey Maguire.
What?
Andrew Garfield.
What?
Zendaya, but we knew that. Willem Dafoe was in the trailers. Alfred Molina, Thomas Hayden Church, Jamie Foxx, Marisa Tomei, Jacob Batalon, J.K. Simmons, Reese Ifans, Benedict Cumberbatch, and some other people. So yeah.
For a second then I was like, Benedict Cumberbatch was in this film. What? I had no idea. Of course he was. Obviously, of course he was. But I was just like, for a second I was just completely seized by this.
God's sake.
Benedict Cumberbatch with the Sherlock in the English? Really? But no.
Him. Yeah. But, do you have an opening statement?
I do. I wrote this before I watched the film. I hope that's okay. I don't want to watch this movie. So much constant exposure, now and always, that I feel any more might kill me. Wow. There we go. Bizarrely, my experience of this movie has been, there's a new Spider-Man film coming out. That's all right.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a new Spider-Man film coming out. Everybody calm the fuck down. Christ. All right, there's a new Spider-Man movie. It just grows and grows and grows, and people talking about it. It's like, I like Spider-Man too, but Jesus.
Lewis, I've got to say, I'm completely 100% opposed to you on this.
Okay.
I was 100% for the hype of Toby and Andrew showing up. I watched the Raimi trilogy when I was younger, all the time. I used to watch it over and over and over again, and was severely disappointed when Andrew Garfield's films came out. And then obviously we get Tom Holland, and we hadn't seen Spider-Man for a while at that point. So to have homage paid to those characters in a way that doesn't tarnish their stories is very good. And I think that Andrew Garfield his Spider-Man was sort of I don't want to say saved, but like
I know what you mean.
Paid respects to in a lot of weird ways.
Yeah,
that's why I said that quote at the beginning. Like, yeah, your villains were made by electric eels, and that guy's a big lizard, and it maybe wasn't what everyone was expecting. But you know, that doesn't make you any less of a Spider-Man. You know, you're very good in your own right. You know,
that was something I did like about the Andrew Garfield movies when I first watched them, because I quite liked them when they first came out. Sorry, excuse me. It's I liked that he had the charisma that I think I didn't quite see in Tobey Maguire. I mean, the problem is that Andrew Garfield is far too attractive. That's the problem. But I quite liked that he was charismatic as Spider-Man. He was funny. He was actually funny. He said things, and I laughed. And that's something that I got a lot when I was reading Spider-Man comics, is Spider-Man is funny. Oh, that was some technical difficulties, but we're back, just about. I'm wearing different clothes, you might be able to notice. But I still look just as insane, which is just perfect for the aesthetic of the podcast.
Technical difficulties that lasted a day to get it to get it sorted.
But the important thing is, I was talking about how funny Spider-Man is. I made note of this yesterday when we had to stop.
Quite right.
But yeah, the thing that I was talking about is Spider-Man is, in my humble opinion, and should be, funny. There's something engaging about having a hero, or even an anti-hero or a villain, that's just kind of funny and witty and smart and on their feet sort of thing. And the one that always gets me, sometimes you see it circulating around on Instagram or Twitter or whatever it is, it's like a screenshot of Spider-Man looking at Green Goblin in a comic book. And he's just got his body back, Peter Parker has, from Otto Octavius, because of that whole... Are you aware of this storyline, where for a bit Dr. Octopus was Spider-Man?
No.
Oh,
sounds dreadful.
It was actually quite good, but yeah, that happened. But anyway, Peter Parker is back, inhabiting his own body and in the Spider-Man suit and all that, and Green Goblin was attacking the Otto Octavius Spider-Man, and then suddenly Peter Parker's back. Green Goblin says to him something like, "You've got nothing over me, there's no way you'll beat me." And Spider-Man looks at him and says, "You're right, I have nothing other than the dignity of knowing I never carried a man purse." And it's the thing that gets me though is Green Goblin just looks at him and narrows his eyes and goes, "You." It's just because I think that's like a key part of the Spider-Man character is the funniness and the stupidity, and seconds from death talking about stupid nonsense and making fun of people. And I think that's something that the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man did really well. That bit where, Christ, what was it? He'd been attacked by a big lizard, and then he was in Gwen Stacy's house going, "Oh, chocolate house." It was kind of light-hearted, even though it was quite a serious situation. And I don't know, I quite like that of Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man. What do you think?
Yeah, well, I just want to say, here at Shouting Into the Void, we have nothing against people who have man purses.
Oh, Christ, no! Use whatever bag you want.
It's you know, it's up to you. Regardless of what Spider-Man says, you're allowed to wear whatever you want.
It's up to you. I don't imagine they're good for your back, actually. I imagine a backpack might be better for your back, but...
Well, yeah, but we're all...
So, bear that in mind, but aside from that, who gives a shit?
Yeah. Apart from the massive health risk of wearing a man purse...
Massive health risk? It's not like walking into a war zone is equitable to using a man purse.
Yeah, someone's sitting there smoking 1,000 fags a day going, "Oh, those man purses, man, they're terrible for your back, by the way."
I also like that this is the first time in my life I think I've actually referred to them as man purses. So I would refer to that Green Goblin bag as like a satchel.
Yeah.
Or maybe even a newspaper bag. If I was referring to like a historical version of it, you know what I mean?
That's what the Green Goblin would refer it as. You know, it's like, "Oh, that's a nice man purse. It's a satchel." You know, he would do, like, you know, he'd shout at you.
Do you remember that CBBC show, M.I. High, where like the grand villain had had this like linen coat thing on, and the spies like caught up to him and said, "Why are you wearing a dressing gown?" And he went, "It's a linen toga or something." Like, no, it's a dressing gown. Yeah, it'd be exactly like that in every way.
Yeah, that's what.
Anyway, you were talking, and I ran over you immediately with an anecdote about a CBBC show that I'm pretty sure is off the air.
I think it is off the air, and not a moment too soon. But yeah, yeah. I mean, this film, it's pretty good. You know, I think I think it paid homage in a lot of ways to the. I think I said that. I may have said this the other day. It's hard to sort of remember, but
Yeah.
I like that they brought back old villains from the Raimi trilogy, and the other one, and without tarnishing the characters at all. Like Dr. Octavius had a really good arc in Spider-Man 2, and they didn't just say, "Oh, this is Dr. Octopus played by Alfred Molina." It's the Dr. Octopus that already has a story, you know. Which was,
I did see there was some speculation because Alfred Molina sort of said to some degree, "Yes, I'm in this movie, and yes, I'm playing the same I'm playing Dr. Octopus in the same sense as I was in the Raimi trilogy." But I remember there was speculation at the time that he's a bit disconnected from the world of sort of MCU mega fans, so he might not actually know what it means to say that.
Yeah.
There was speculation. I remember thinking he might just be saying, "Yeah, I'm playing this same guy that's got arms on him." So for a while I was concerned it was just going to be an homage, and I was like, oh, well, that'd be a bit crap if it was.
Yeah, it would be.
Although I would say the tentacles are beautiful in their own very strange way.
They are.
It's I remember thinking they were in the Raimi movies because I think they were a brilliant combination of practical effects and CGI. I don't know how much of either of those things was used in this movie, but they looked really good in this movie.
Yeah.
I don't like the Stark nanotech that now seems to creep into every little MCU project as just a tiny little thing. I don't like it because it just seems like a cure-all. It's like a magic wish machine. You're just like, oh no, my leg isn't working right, and Spider-Man comes up to you, smacks your leg, and then there's some Tony Stark particles that have fixed your muscles, and you go, oh, that's way better, thanks, Spider-Man, and you carry on down the street. I don't like its use, but it was pretty. Do you know what I mean?
It was.
No complaints about that.
I mean, I do like this sort of subversion of like, oh my god, he's got Iron Man's technology. What is he gonna do? And then it's like, no, it's just a way to get out of the death zone that Spider-Man was in at that point. It's like, oh yeah, I can control you now, which was interesting because I'm not entirely sure how I feel about it, because on the one hand it's like the tentacles it's like a struggle of making them listen to him and not them overriding his sort of anger and stuff like that. And yet a bit of nanotechnology can just hop on and be like, nope, it's gone.
I suppose maybe to some degree, maybe there's an argument that those tentacles were from whatever year it was that film came out, 2008, 9, whatever. And then this nanotechnology is bleeding edge tech from the future, kind of.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Maybe there's an argument there, just the progress of AI in general. And I suppose Tony Stark's specific knowledge of AI with Jarvis and Friday and all the rest of them. Maybe there's a bit of a gap there. Although this wasn't said in the film, I'm just making allowances here. It's like what we said about Star Wars, about like if you just stop making allowances for things, it just becomes a bit pointless.
Like, somehow Palpatine returned nonsense. See if the nanotechnology can take over the tentacles, and the tentacles don't behave like aggressively. What's making Dr. Octopus aggressive then?
His general anger, I suppose. I don't really know.
I mean, like the whole thing is, the inhibitor chip is broken, so the tentacles are now controlling him. But like, wouldn't he then just behave like a puppet then to Spider-Man?
Oh, I see.
Do you know what I mean? Because it's not like, the inhibitor chip's broken and he's now really angry. It's like, no, the tentacles are meant to be like controlling his, higher motor functions.
I always thought maybe it was like I remember thinking when I was a kid, because he sort of taps the back of his neck, doesn't he, for the chip? Or am I getting that completely fucked?
I don't think he I think it's like just there, and then it gets fried, and then he's like...
Yeah, I seem to have this image in my head of him going, "Don't worry, Harry," or whatever. "I'm completely safe. Look at this thing here," and he points at the back of his neck. I might have completely fabricated that, but I remember... maybe I fabricated it because of what I'm about to say, which is I always had a theory when I was a kid that it was like a dam in between his brain and his body. So it's like it sort of gets in the way. So yes, it controls his motor functions of his arms and his legs, but his brain is still his. but then that doesn't explain why he would become more aggressive. Actually,
Oh,
yeah, no,
I
ignore
thought
that.
it was like you had like a joystick on like some sort of horrible goblin or something.
Oh God, like did you ever see that really terrible movie, Real Steel?
No.
It's a terrible movie, but worth a watch if you fancy watching a crap movie. It's the future, okay? And boxing has been replaced by robots that box each other.
Oh.
Can I not interest you in this?
Wow.
Hugh Jackman used to be a boxer, and then he lost his job to some robots, and then he sort of got some engineering knowledge. I'm very poorly remembering this film. But then him and his son find a robot and then make it win the heavyweight title of the world or something. But yeah, the point I'm trying to make is eventually at some point the robot's computers start to break down. So you have
They just start
like,
boxing people.
Come on, Ed! They're just going to stand there like, whoa, like they're sort of drunk.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a bit where they have this setting that they briefly explain where Hugh Jackman like stands opposite the robot and it like shadows him and copies his movements, and there's like a different person that uses like a joystick to control this robot and it's like falling over and stuff, and you're meant to go, oh, Hugh Jackman, the hero of the film, he's really cool.
Yeah.
So yeah. But it's like that. It's like if he had a joystick and Alfred Molina was going, it's just like falling about all over the shop.
Yeah, now I'm thinking about it, it's really dumb because the tentacles must be like inherently.
That could be on like the epitaph.
Yeah, it absolutely could be. Now that I think about it,
that's kind of shit.
It's kind of stupid as shit. Yeah, so the tentacles are like made inherently aggressive then, and the only thing stopping them is a chip on the back of your neck. Because it's not
Maybe
like they
it's,
become aggressive. He says, like, when he puts it on, he's like, oh, I control them instead of them controlling me. And then the chip gets broken, and it's like, no, I'm Dr. Octopus now. So why would you make them inherently aggressive? Why wouldn't you just...
Maybe it's like an emergent property of AI. Like an AI gets to a certain level, and it's like... again, I'm making allowances.
Here we go.
But it's just like, oh, well, humans naturally are... Clearly, we should get rid of all of them. Maybe that's like an emergent prop. But then Jarvis never did that. But then Ultron did.
Yeah, they weren't even made for that. They were meant to like contain sun things from coming out of the power of the sun in the palm of my hand. You know, like
of course.
Just to hold that in. So why would they be like, yeah, I'm gonna fucking kill some cunts? Like, you know, why would that come out their head?
Yeah. Moving on from the tentacles.
Why? Are you afraid?
Keep talking about the tentacles if you want.
No, I'm dumb.
Yeah, something I got here. May dies! ! Didn't see that coming! ! Again. Suppose we had no Ben moment. Yeah, I did not see May's death coming at all. It was really surprising to me. It felt shocking in a strange emotive way that I wasn't expecting, because
I
don't really give a shit about this Spider-Man or Aunt May. I feel like I don't really have an emotional investment in them in the same way as I did when Iron Man died, or
I knew it was coming.
When Steve Rogers became an old man. But yeah, then I sort of saw what happened. I was like, oh my god! But it is a very logical choice to have that emotive decision of what is it? Responsibility and power. With great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah.
It's always the impetus for Spider-Man, and the fact that you've never had an Uncle Ben to say that means that you might need Aunt May to make him realise it, sort of thing.
Yeah. People have been commenting on how Aunt May and like, Uncle Ben have been getting like progressively younger.
Yes.
As the films go on. So I have a theory that Channing Tatum will be the next Uncle Ben.
He could be. He could be.
Or Taylor,
fresh off the set of Magic Mike. He's like
Taylor Lautner or someone like that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think.
Do you notice that Taylor Lautner looks a bit like an alpaca?
No.
If you Google a picture of him and a picture of an alpaca, and you'll go, yeah, that's true.
You must hate Taylor Lautner. Poor Taylor Lautner getting lumped in.
I think alpacas are great.
Oh, never mind then.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Aunt May will be played by Margot Robbie, and Spider-Man will be the little boy from Jojo Rabbit, and we'll get to like the Benjamin Button thing, and it'll just be, that's
I think that's the natural
step.
thing. Yeah. This movie, there was a bit with the Statue of Liberty, which I thought was nice. I think it's very Spider-Man that he's sort of the spirit of New York in a strange way. There's something about his character that he is his. What am I trying to say? Like the soul of New York lives in him. I always viewed him a bit like, I don't know if you've read the Harry Potter books. Do you know who Peeves is in the Harry Potter books?
No.
Okay. He's a spirit. He's like a ghast or a ghoul or something. He has some kind of he's a poltergeist. That's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah.
And the idea is that there's like the built-up energy of generations and generations of students at Hogwarts that have wanted to prank each other, and its mischievous energy and all the rest of it has resulted in Peeves, who is a poltergeist that pranks people, essentially. But I've always kind of thought it was that's an inherent Spider-Man thing in a strange way. It's the spirit of New York, and New Yorkers band together in a crisis, and all the rest of it. It's I think that's a Spider-Man thing, and I think that
apart from all the mafia and all that.
Yes, yes. Apart from all those bits in New York, in John Wick, when New York, he was like charging around, killing all the Russian mafia in New York. Yeah. Apart from those things, yeah. But yeah, I think if Spider-Man had been bitten by a radioactive spider in Middle America, small town America, sort of thing, I don't think it would have been the same. I don't know if he would have had that same sort of sense of owing something to his community, and I don't know,
Yeah, no, definitely. I agree. Willem Dafoe was fantastic in this.
He was. Willem Dafoe's fantastic in everything, though.
Yeah, I don't think there's...
It was not a great surprise to be like, wow, look at him doing all that acting.
Yeah. I mean, his betrayal was like... You knew it was coming, didn't you? You knew it was just going to happen. He was, I'm bad again. I never thought that was the case in the Raimi trilogy. I didn't think that he was like...
No, neither did I.
I didn't think he had like multiple personalities and like, it's like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, Like I thought it was the Norman that was with him was bad, but was too cowardly to do anything. So he had this other voice who spurred him on and gave him like ideas and stuff like that. I didn't realise it was...
Yeah, I get that.
There's a good guy and a really, really bad guy, I don't understand that one.
No, I sort of had a similar thing with the Raimi trilogy. I always thought, like, the Green Goblin juice or whatever it is, I always thought that sort of gave him the ability to leap great buildings in a single bound and be strong and go toe-to-toe with Spider-Man, who's obviously very strong and swings around New York and all the rest of it. But I never thought there was really quite such a notable, marked insanity to him. I always thought it was sort of he was a man in desperation and who'd sort of been corrupted by the situation he was in and the sort of the desperate nature of what he was doing, sort of thing. I thought that was perhaps the case, but no, I never got that distinct nature on him.
Yeah. Well, fair enough.
I do think it was. I think we briefly mentioned this yesterday, but we had obviously Kurt Connors and Jamie Foxx, whose name I cannot remember in the film. Max Dillon, is that it? As Electro?
Was it Kurt Connors?
Even the Lizard. Pretty sure Kurt Connors is his name in comic books. You watch, it's not going to be his name in.
Yeah, there was a Connors in the original trilogy, wasn't there? But he didn't turn into a lizard though.
Oh, well.
He was just the guy
wasted potential. Get a lizard in there.
Yeah, he was just the guy that Peter went to, like to do stuff, like to give him venom goo and stuff like that. And it's like, God, what is that? Oh,
oh my God.
Yeah, I don't know if they
were... venom goo, what do we think about the...
we're not ready yet, Lewis!
We're not... Okay.
Were they even in it, or was it like CGI from like another film?
I have got no idea. I would like to think they were in it. That'd be very nice, wouldn't it?
I would like to think they'd be in it a bit more if they were actually in it,
True, because Alfred Molina and Willem Dafoe they were standing around and talking and doing things.
Yeah, they were definitely in it.
And Alfred Molina, he was in trailers, for God's sake. He was in plenty of the film.
Yeah.
I don't know, because Jamie Foxx obviously had the sort of redesign where he was in sort of a black suit. Not suit, it's like it was... When I say like a special ops suit, that's what I mean. It's like a sort of a black jumper and black trousers,
he looked
but not
a
like
lot
a suit.
Better. you know?
Yes, Christ, he looked a lot better. And he had that sort of electricity with the spikes.
Yeah.
It was like Electro in the comic books. I thought was brilliant.
Yeah,
because Electro in the comic books looked insane.
Yeah, it didn't like overshadow, because he literally wears like a spandex suit with
green and yellow
spikes.
spandex suit.
Yeah, exactly. So that was a nice sort of homage. But in the original film with Andrew Garfield, he looked fucking terrifying. It was like just all electric, and his eyes were gone and all that. It was horrible.
Yeah, it was scary. It was
a bit weird.
Yeah, it was a bit weird. I didn't mind it so much in the Amazing Spider-Man trilogy, duology, the two films,
the sequels.
That's the one. Yeah, the pre-sequel. I didn't mind it too much in those two films because I've always been of the opinion of like if there's a long established character, fuck it, let anyone have a go at it. Let your most insane graphic designer give him a pencil and say, there you go, mate. What do you think Electro should look like? In 20 minutes' time, I want to come back to the most insane thing you can possibly think of. Because that's how you get really insane nonsense that could be brilliant.
Yeah.
And so I never really minded the blue electric man, but I always did think it was weird that he was an electric man that wore hoodies. That always struck me as a bit odd. But, you know, perhaps that's just me. Because he wore, like, hoodies and stuff. And then he also slipped down... like a plug socket, like as in an electrical outlet, not like a bathtub. He slipped like down a plug socket and then into the national grid as well. It's America, the power lines, but into the cables. So I always thought he can't be both, surely. Otherwise, he'd have cooked jumpers.
Is that how Electro became Electro in the comics?
Oh, I think he might have been around long enough that it was just he got struck by lightning, or it was some fancy chemicals or something. Electro.
Max Dillon was struck by lightning while holding live tension wires and found a reel of 1-inch cable, granting him superhuman powers. Yeah, because he just fell into a tub of electric eels.
Here we go. An unusually configured magnetic field was created when Max Dillon was struck by lightning while holding live high-tension wires. I'm reading out what you just read, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got struck by lightning while he was holding some cables.
Yeah. And
okay.
And in the film, electric eels got to him, and instead of just dying, he turned into Electric Man, which is cool.
Which I hope happens to me if I fall into a vat of electric eels.
Yeah,
I hope I become Electric Man. That'd be very cool.
That would be amazing. Amazing.
What would you do with your powers as Electric Man?
I'd probably drain all the power from nuclear weapon sites.
Good shout.
I don't know what else.
Pump it all into the national grid or something, and like
the NHS and stuff.
Yeah, that's good.
And make sure people have got power in their houses. For
I've just got this image of like an optician or something shining a light into someone's eye, and suddenly the power increases 100-fold, and it just like burns a hole through their head.
Doing the work, doing the good work.
Spreading the good word, guys. There's just doctors with torches that are suddenly burning holes in walls.
Yeah, like torches that could burn a hole in the ozone layer, like just. Oh man.
I want to quickly say, aside from May, which took me as a surprise, May's death, this film is exactly what I thought it would be. I was not really surprised by anything in this film, which is probably the reason for my opening statement, which is that thing I said yesterday, which the listeners will remember, but I don't. There's so much constant exposure now and always. It's really intense. Because of that, I wasn't surprised by anything. I thought, okay, well, Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire will probably be in the film. Might not be, but probably will be. Alfred Molina, Willem Dafoe, all these people are going to be in it. There's going to be a big lizard, an Electric Man. They're all going to be in it. Yep, okay, that was it. I didn't really consider it much beyond that. And then I watched the film and said, yep, they were in it. And then that was it.
Yeah.
I know, and obviously you have to sort of build hype for a movie, and you have to tease things and release little trailers and everything, but it's so much more engaging when you just go in blind.
That's
and all of a sudden you're like, oh my god, there's 3 Spider-Men, and oh my god, it's Tobey Maguire and Andrew, oh my god, and you sat there in the cinema exploding with excitement and joy.
Yeah.
But no, we didn't get that, which was a bit annoying in a funny way.
If I became the marketing guy for Marvel for their next massive film where it's like, oh my god, there's blah 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 in it and blah blah blah, I wouldn't release like any trailers whatsoever, and I would just release posters.
Yeah.
And just say, this is when the film's out. You're getting nothing but this poster. Come and see it. It'll blow your mind, or it won't. It's up to you. That's what I would do.
You might have to give a little bit of something and just say, like, you will be massively surprised by what happens in this film. Good night. And then walk away.
No, because I think telling people what they're gonna get
is
gonna create like.
So just a big sheet of paper
they would just say that
says Spider-Man 3, or 10th of August, or whatever.
Yeah, I would be much more intrigued to go to a film if they just said, look, it may blow your mind, it may not. It's up to you. Come and see it or don't. It's up to you. I don't care.
But then are you in a subset? Because it's like what you said about, like, you were very excited by the Raimi sort of hype and all the rest of it.
Not everyone thinks like me, Lewis.
Oh, of course. Sorry,
Everyone
I forgot that we were all cloned from you originally.
Yeah,
you are the timeless child of humanity.
I am the timeless child, Lewis.
Yep.
It was me all along.
Yes, I want to quickly say, how long do we think it's going to take for Peter to reconnect with MJ and Ned?
Oh, probably the next film.
Yep, next film, I reckon. Because this happened in the comics. He went to a wizard and said, "Can you just take everybody's idea of who I am away, please?" And then he said, "Yeah, all right, but if you tell people, then they'll know and remember everything that you've done with them in the past," sort of thing.
Yeah.
There's this bit where he goes to the Fantastic Four and he says, "Okay, you know me when I take off the mask. You'll know me." And they're like really angry, like, "Take off your fucking mask, then." He takes off his mask and they goes, "Oh, hi, Peter. You're right. How you doing?" And there's like this nice little moment. So maybe it'll just be like, "Oh, by the way, MJ, you don't know me, but we confessed our love for one another, and also I'm Spider-Man." And Zendaya will go, "Oh,
yeah.
yeah."
Why don't you just take her to like Doctor Strange's house, and just be like, "Look, this guy can do magic, right? And he magicked your mind away, and then he does magic, and then it's like, well, to be fair, he'd probably hide himself, I guess." Do you know what would have solved it? Here's what would have solved it immediately, and there would have been no need for this fucking film. Okay, Peter Parker goes to Doctor Strange.
Peter Parker immediately kills himself.
No, he goes to Doctor Strange and says, "Hey, can we all pretend that Mysterio didn't exist?"
But actually, no. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and then that's it.
J. Jonah Jameson would still have deep-seated hatred for Spider-Man. But then I suppose he wouldn't get the information about who Spider-Man is.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Done. There you go. I've just solved your fucking film, Marvel. Well, I didn't
John Watts is quaking in his boots. Is it John Watts that directed this?
Yeah, I thought you meant the guy who discovered electricity. Who was that?
Nikola Tesla? I don't know.
No, wait. Wait. What? What?
Watt? I think Watt was a physicist that.
Is it James Watt?
That made the James Watt. Yeah, was a physicist that
he was
came
a
up with
Scottish.
The Watt.
He was Scottish. I think he invented the light, but he was Scottish, by the way.
Was he Scottish?
He was Scottish, actually.
Oh right, okay.
University of Glasgow. Glasgow. What did he do?
From this time, the time that James Watt was knocking about, all you had to do to be a scientist was be like a man that had enough money that he didn't need to go to work. Yeah. You could just stand at your kitchen table and look at something really closely and go, "Oh yeah, I've discovered this thing. I've discovered this obscure phenomena that happens." Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
What did James Watt do? Have we figured it out yet?
I think he made the Watt steam engine.
Okay, yeah, he made a train.
Yeah, separate condenser. Parallel motion.
I don't know what any of these things are.
Centrifugal governor indicator diagram. God, he sounds
I see. I think I might need some education in physics before I learn what these things are.
I don't know what that is. He was a chemist.
So, for our last note on the film, is it time to talk about the post-credit sequence, or the mid-credit sequence, or whatever?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so, speaking of symbiote goo, Tom Hardy was in a bar, being like, "Oh, I'm bloody Venom."
Yeah, all these all these villains showed up and he just fucking sat at a bar the entire film and was like, fuck that, I'm not joining in that, I'm going to get
I haven't actually seen those movies, but I would imagine that is very Eddie Brock thing to do. He's just like, oh, fuck this off, and he just goes to a bar. There we go, that's better.
I'm glad we didn't get the Eddie Brock from the Raimi trilogy.
Is that the one that literally prayed for Spider-Man to die?
Yeah, like he literally went to a church and like he was like, God kills. No, he didn't even say Spider-Man. He said kill Peter Parker.
Oh my God!
He's like, kill Peter Parker because I cheated, and then he told J. Jonah Jameson, and I lost my job, so now he must die. Like, what the fuck? Jesus Christ! Yeah, so he did that. And like, if he showed up, he would like just say his signature catchphrase, I like being bad, it makes me happy, which is a classic motivation, really deep characters.
To be fair, I think sometimes you do need a villain like that. I think not everybody can have a morally grey arc. Just some people are just like, no, I'm just an irredeemable twat.
I know, but most people don't see themselves as that, though, do they?
No, that's true. To people, it's all justified. Yeah.
Yeah, people are like, like even Tony Soprano, who's like watching like his childhood friend cry because like he's like busted his business. He's like, well, this is how I make a living. This is my bread and butter here. Oh, for Christ's sake, don't cry. It's like he thinks he's just doing his job, and this guy has gambled his way to oblivion because of Tony's encouragement, and now he has no money, and it's like, oh, fuck off, it's my job, and I need to provide for my kids. So, you know.
Right. I think that's the end of our chat about
done.
Spider-Man after 2 days.
We're done. It's taken us 2 days.
Have we got a closing statement?
Yeah, this film is good. I can't wait for all the plot threads to be resolved in the next film, and I feel I'm sniffing the winds of change, Lewis, and I feel like there's gonna be a new Spider-Man at some point.
Ooh, do we think so? Who's he gonna be?
Miles Morales, probably, if I had to bet on it.
I meant an actor, but that's it probably will be Miles Morales. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially with Spider-Verse.
Yeah, that's gonna happen.
Because that's coming out soon, isn't it? They've released a trailer for Spider-Verse 2.
Yeah.
Spider-Verse 1 was so fucking good, wasn't
it? It was.
It was utterly beautiful. Every single frame, a beautiful, beautiful painting.
Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic. Really like that film.
It
so
really
I'm sure the
was.
second one will be good too. So yeah, maybe it will be Miles Morales. It'll be, I don't know who it'll be.
Yep.
Someone good, I hope.
I'm suspecting that the next film will happen and Miles Morales will be hinted at in a post-credit scene. And that'll be what happens.
This is some far down the line speculation. This is like 5 years away.
Yeah. Do you know what the first post-credit sequence was, Lewis?
I would imagine it was on Iron Man 1.
No, before that.
No?
I'm not even talking about the same franchise.
Oh, right. Okay. No, I don't.
It was the film Masters of the Universe, which was a He-Man film, and Skeletor's been killed, and then at the end there's this bubbling bath, and his bald head pops up, and he's like, "I will be back," like that, and then the film ends. But like, you know that way where it's like it freezes on the person, and then fades, and it's like, oh my god, and it's just it's a really stupid face he makes. So no one was excited for the sequel that didn't happen. I see. You know.
Also, I imagine people wouldn't have stayed for it if it's a post-credit sequence.
Yeah, no one knew. I found it. I'm the first person to discover this. I found it I found it on my grand's video player, and I was like, I forgot to turn it off, and I was like, oh shit, what's this? That's what happened.
No, I remember. Oh, I forget which of the Marvel movies it was. It might have been Thor. I'm not sure. But I remember my dad said to me and my mum that were sat there in the cinema, no, wait, there'll be like a little thing in the credits. It'll just after the credits, just wait. And of course, it's a Marvel movie, so millions of people have worked on it. So the credits go on for fucking days.
Yeah.
And then you get to the end of it, and it was just like a 2 or 3 second scene. But I was like, oh my god! It was just like a revelation for me of like, there is more film in this film than I ever thought there would be. It was brilliant.
Yeah, and your parents said, oh my god, maybe it'll be like Masters of the Universe where they have like a little bit at the end. Oh shit.
Yeah, maybe it will be like that. Anyway, you did your closing statement just now, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
I find myself not really caring that much about Marvel movies
Wow.
anymore. This was
Wow.
a good movie, but I wasn't really emotionally invested in it. Right. You hear the winds of change changing that we're going to have a Miles Morales movie, and I think that would be wonderful. I don't really care about that. What I want is a Marvel property to do something interesting and good. I want to be interested by Marvel movies again. I want them to engage me and to pick me up and grab me and carry me along for the film. I can't help but feel that a lot of them, watching them, I just feel a bit like, oh, yeah, there's more people running around punching stuff.
Yeah.
But then, for like the first few episodes of WandaVision, I was hooked, utterly hooked, watching it, thinking, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
It's all black and white, it's a sitcom, what the hell's going on? And then for bits and bobs of Loki, that really picked me up and dragged me through it. I want to see that level of arresting presence on the screen. I want to see that brought to the movies. And if we get that would be absolutely wonderful. I'd love that.
Yeah.
I think it's unlikely we will. I think it'll stay within the Disney Plus shows, but I would love it if we did.
Yeah, and like when you do the black and white stuff in the sitcom, maybe don't make your protagonist to be an inhuman monster who we're all meant to feel sorry for.
Yes, an inhuman monster that we all say, go on, Wanda, you fuck off before the police get here. Go on, it's all right.
They'll never know what you sacrificed for them. What did she... Our kids aren't real. She made them up in a fever dream while torturing thousands of people. Fuck off. Fuck off.
Before Danny has another explosion of rage, have we got some shilling to do?
Yeah, go on then. We all have link trees on linktr.ee, and Lewis's / what? Fuck off. Okay, we all have link trees, and Lewis's link tree is linktr.ee /Lewis_Brindley. Mine's is /Ohirum, and the podcast is /shoutingintothevoid. There you will find our socials, our Instagram, our Facebook, and
Danny is so blinded by rage about WandaVision that he's getting this wrong.
Yeah. Leave a like, leave a comment, give us a follow, give us a subscribe if you're feeling cheeky, and thank you.
I can hear it underneath your voice.
Fuck off.
Underneath your voice, you're just
Fuck you.
She's an inhuman monster, I hate her, she's terrible.
We have a PayPal donate button, so anything you could spare, anything at all, would be greatly appreciated. And, we know it's Christmas, but just do it, right?
Yep, perfect, Dan. You nailed that one.
Anything you can spare would be really appreciated. Thank you so much. We also have Patreon, and we want to take the opportunity, as we do every week, to thank our wonderful, wonderful patrons. Chloe.
Thank you.
Darius.
Thank you.
Peter.
Thank you.
Aditya.
Thank you.
Natalie.
Thank you.
And Doogie.
Thank you, one and all. You really do make the podcast possible. You allow us to keep on doing this show, and you allow Danny to keep getting unhealthily angry about WandaVision, which is, of course, a wonderful thing. So thank you very much to each and every one of you. It really does mean the world. And alongside the wonderful support of our wonderful patrons, we have the support of the wonderful Kez from the wonderful Right Side Yarns, for which we have a wonderful ad spot, which is here. Danny, I've got some amazing news.
Oh, really? What?
I'm going to make you a hat.
Thanks, but why?
Well, because Right Side Yarns, who sell beautiful and unique wool, have recently released a new range.
Oh, I've heard of them. Aren't they that fantastic Scottish business that sells high-quality hand-dyed products perfect for crafting with?
They certainly are, and they're sponsoring the show.
Really? Have they heard the show?
Yes, and apparently they like it. Kezia, the owner of the business, has given us a generous 15% off code for any of our listeners to use.
Is that why you've got Void 15 written in your hand?
It is! If you or any of our listeners would like to use the code, simply enter Void 15 at checkout with a capital V.
Great! Where do I check out?
You can go to their website at rightsideyarns.co.uk or check them out on Instagram at Kezia_rightsideyarns.
Fantastic! This hat you're making me better be good.
And now we're back.
Oh my
what do you think, Dan? Did you like it?
I loved it. I loved every minute of it. I'll never hear another advert like it again. All the trailers from all the Marvel films doesn't even hold a candle to
all the trailers that everybody were just combing through, trying to find little bits of Alfred Molina and little bits of Willem Dafoe and Andrew Garfield. And
perfect.
Nope. Instead, they've got our wonderful ad spot to comb through for pictures of Andrew Garfield.
Quite right. Yeah, right side yarns. See?
Hey, there we
See,
go. You've nailed that one.
I'm good at this. We also have merch, don't we, on Teespring and Redbubble.
Plenty of the stuff.
Yeah, it's Christmas. Buy yourself something nice. T-shirts, tote bags, mugs, stickers, socks. Get something, because it's Christmas.
It is indeed.
Yeah, and last but certainly not least, we are partnered with an amazing company called Number 12 Crochet Avenue, and Lewis is going to say some wonderful things about them, all of which are true.
Indeed I am. Number 12 Crochet Avenue is a wonderful company run by my wonderful wife, in which they crochet and share wonderful bits of news about that wonderful world. So if you want to learn what's going on over there, you can go to @Number 12 Crochet Avenue on Instagram, and you can check out what they've got going on over there. So go and check it out, give it a cheeky like and a cheeky follow. It'd mean the world. Thank you.
I think that's us.
I think that is us. Yes, we've managed to do everything somehow.
Yes, absolutely. Well, that is us, I believe.
It is indeed.
Yeah, so we've just got a little bit of an announcement to make. Christmas. Yep, Christmas holidays are right round the corner. It will be the Christmas holidays by the time you're listening to this. So, yeah, we're going to take a little bit of a break to take some time to relax. We've both got full-time jobs outside of this. So we just want to kick back, have some eggnog, if that's your thing. And yeah.
It's not. My thing is ice cream. Can I have some of that?
You can have some ice cream if you want, Lewis.
Oh, lovely.
I don't live with you, so yeah, we shall be back on the 14th of January.
We will indeed.
Yeah, we'll probably be doing series 4 of Doctor Who, and what film we'll be doing, who knows? Who knows?
It will be a surprise to even us. If there's a cool new film coming out in the new year, we will look for it and go, oh, look at that, it's a cool new film. And then we'll do that. So that'll be exciting.
Yes, it certainly will. But other than that, I think we're A-okay to scoot away.
We are A-okay. Yeah, wow, that was
Woo!
fluent. Okay, thank you very much for listening, each and every one of you. It really does mean the world. And we'll see you in the new year. Have a wonderful Christmas season, and a wonderful New Year season, and a wonderful start of January.
Yes. Goodbye.
Thank you very much for listening. Goodbye.